Now, Donald Trump has challenged Joe Biden to TV debates anytime, any place, anywhere. In the run-up to the US election, his challenge came just hours after his last remaining rival, Nikki Haley, dropped out of the race to be the Republican nominee for the White House. Joining me now to discuss this is Chairman of Republicans Overseas UK, Greg Swenson. Welcome back to the show. I mean, this is all inevitable. Super Tuesday was a bit of a... it was almost as yawn-festing as the budget yesterday. Yeah. We knew what was going to happen. Yeah. Nikki Haley, I mean, it was amazing. She clung on by her fingernails this long. Let's talk about her first before we go to these debates. But, I mean, what happens to her now? Is she still going to hang around in the wings in the hope that Donald Trump gets convicted, the mood in the country changes, is what she hopes, and then she comes back as the only likely Republican nominee?
It's still a long shot, but I think that's probably one of the reasons she hung around this long. You know, there's probably a number of different reasons, but I think what's important is that, you know, there are a number of voters that don't want to vote for Trump, at least in the primaries. Now, many of them will come around, they call it come home, to the nominee. But, you know,
at the end of the day, they don't like Trump, but they like him more than Biden.
Many or most will. Yeah. But the question is, how many won't? And that's important. If you know, some of the exit polls from the primaries, the Nikki Haley voters, you know, sometimes up to 30% of them said, we're not going to vote for Trump if he's the nominee. Now, that can change, as I said. And the poll that came out over the weekend that sort of contradicts that, the CNN New York Times poll that said 97% of the 2020 Trump voters will vote for him.
Yeah, it's going to be, I mean, it really is. It may have been a kind of fairly dull primary season, but it's going to be very interesting when we get to the actual election. Absolutely. It is now a near certainty. You can never say anything's for certain, that it's going to be a rerun of 2020, Biden v. Trump. This challenge from Donald Trump, the man who, of course, didn't bother with the Republican primary debates, because, oh, why should I have to? I'm the run-ahead winner.
Turned out to be the smart move.
Very much the smart move. Each time he would do a town hall on Fox News or something and get far more attention and far more, you know, more media coverage. What a surprise. But, I mean, challenging to Joe Biden's debates, this is a clever move, isn't it? Because Joe Biden fought, as lots of people say, from a basement in 2020.
That's right.
And that's not going to be allowed to happen. We ain't in COVID anymore.
I don't know how he's going to accomplish this. The best strategy, in my view, and even some of his advisors have said, let's do the basement strategy again. You know,
no one sees or hears from him.
He can't campaign, right? And I can't imagine he would agree to debate President Trump. I mean, that would be a disaster for Biden. You know, the debates they had in 2020 actually favored Biden because Trump was somewhat unhinged on several occasions. So I think...
And Joe Biden's been around a long time. I mean, he's counted them in and counted them out over the years, hasn't he?
Yes, but, you know, he's a different Joe Biden than he was even 4 or 5 years ago.
And even the Democrats know that. And we see the polling saying most Democrats don't want him to run.
And someone let him on the stage, you know, 3 weeks ago after the Robert Hur report came out, and it was a complete car crash. Yeah. It was a real debacle.
He doesn't know, and we were talking about countries of war, he doesn't know which country he's talking about. Right. He doesn't know, he gets Gaza and Ukraine confused.
So I can't imagine he'll agree to do a debate with Trump. He would
but then he will be accused of running scared, and everyone knows that the reason he's not doing them is because of that. Right. That is going to shift polls, isn't it? Because those presidential debates, so we've started to try to have these sort of debates here in the UK, but, you know, sometimes some of the biggest figures say, no, I'm not going to bother doing it, thank you very much. They are a set piece in American elections. I'm not sure you can go to election without having those debates now.
I mean, since 1960, you know, every cycle, they have probably too many debates, in my opinion. Yeah. I mean, they're painful to watch. So this one would be entertaining. This one would be really entertaining.
But for the wrong reasons.
Right, of course. I mean, look, 75% of Americans don't want Trump versus Biden. They're both very unpopular. So, you know, Trump's negatives are at 54, Biden's are at 59. Biden's underwater 21 points in approval, disapproval. But Trump's only underwater 10, which for Trump is pretty good.
But again, you know, they think it's the greatest country on earth. Actually, that's Britain. But, you know, it's such... Well, it is.
For an NHS.
If they don't have an NHS, that's why Philip Ingram, just heard that, is still with us. It is absolutely extraordinary. We're going to be having that rerun of 2020 and two candidates that most people in America don't want.
It is. And, you know, the size of America, for those... to boil down to those two candidates.
That's all you've got.
It says there's something wrong in the political system if you can't get younger, more dynamic people who have got a better understanding of global politics and the US's place.
Or can stay awake in the afternoon. I mean, let's just set the bar that high, shall we?
Yeah, I mean, he only works from 10 to 2 on a good day. they give him a green drink and some makeup in the morning and prop him, bring him down to the Oval Office. It's really sad. I mean, I'm not trying to.
Well, it is sad, and it's wrong. But again, no one wants Kamala Harris, I mean, including the Democrats,
She's
to be.
She's the only one polling lower than Biden, right?
Yeah.
So you have, two unpopular presidents.
And
Trump's on a roll right now. He's
Donald Trump is a kind of an entity in himself, okay?
Sure.
Joe Biden wasn't. But there's a reason. Joe Biden ran for the presidency many, many times and
Yeah.
didn't get it. He was VP under Obama, and then he was considered to be like the safe pair of hands to run against Donald Trump when he got the Republican nomination. But is there really nobody the Democrats can have? Because they always say that Biden's the only person who could, lose to Trump, and Trump's the only person who could,
right.
lose to Biden.
I mean, that's accurate. And I think that was one of the challenges, is there is no real bench for the Democrats. I think the Republicans have a much deeper bench, and you saw that in the primaries. It didn't work out for them, but still,
you're a Ron DeSantis man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so there is a bench, and there's a young bench, too, in the Republican Party. The Democrats, they're not looking great. I mean, maybe some of these Midwestern governors could fill in, but that's about it.
Yeah, it is going to be absolutely fascinating to watch. We're going to be having all eyes peeled on what's going on in America, including there's an election here as well, but I don't think we'll pay that much attention to that one. Greg Svensson, thank you very much.